to Cabot Solutions. We had a wonderful association with Cabot and Venkat, the Cabot team for implementing Agile, and we left there and I'm coming back after a long time. Now in this stand-up meeting, what we are trying to do is we want to analyze the workflow, pre-sales as well as post-sales, and try to identify the bottlenecks and then think about how to solve them. But then that is not part of the agenda for today's. Today's is just the workflow, pre-sales as well as post-sales, typically the engineering workflow, and just to understand the bottlenecks. So it's just so welcome Venkat.
Thank you.
So please give an introduction about yourself.
Hi, I'm Venkatesh Thyagarajan. I'm the CEO for Cabot Solutions. Cabot is a technology IT services firm. We have been in business for almost 10 years now. We are coming closer to our 10th anniversary in May of 2016. We primarily deal with web and enterprise mobility projects out of North America. A large portion of our projects are from North America. We do some projects in Australia and a couple of them in India as well. So we have a team of 80 plus developers. We are all located in Info Park in Cochin, and we follow Agile and Scrum to the best ability that we do. And I'm excited to talk about our our DevOps project, process that we follow in Cabot for pre-sales and post-sales.
See, coming back to DevOps, see, I scan through, I'm also just learning.
Okay.
I'm not an expert. But then when I scan through the YouTube videos, I could see only one guy presenting something from his experience.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else was from cut and paste kind of thing. People come out with beautiful slides and then talk about it. So I thought maybe I also dirty my hands a little bit before talking about it.
Yeah.
So I saw a wonderful presentation from the IBM.
Yes.
I was really thrilled because he's a hands-on guy. I forgot his name, but that really inspired me. Okay. And I thought maybe I'll try out whatever I could infer from there.
Sure.
So that was the trigger for this.
Good. So I could start talking about the way things work within Cabot, and how do we deal with with a query coming in from a customer, and with a project or question, and then where do we take it from there, and how do we close the deal or not close the deal. Is that okay? Fine, we start with that. Perfect. Okay. So usually there are multiple ways of getting an incoming lead. We just assume that somebody. So we have so just assume that this is our website. I'm just talking about one means of getting a lead. So somebody with a prospective customer comes. Do you want me to go there? Maybe it's
which one is easier for you?
Yeah, this is.
Come this side. Yeah.
Sorry. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this way I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a prospective customer. So we say whatever it is, he has a requirement. So we say that he has a requirement. So in this case, let's say that he has a requirement to develop a mobile app. All right. So this particular person, let's say he's a surgeon. He's a surgeon in the US. And he is also a teacher. He's in a university, and he wants to develop a mobile app to evaluate his residents and give them a feedback at the end of the year, something like that. So a vast majority of the cases that we get, our customer requests we get, is a concept. So people have ideas and concepts. So they come up with a concept of either a mobile app or a website or something like that, and they contact us through a friend or a LinkedIn or referral or however it happens. And so at that point of time, so this requirement is then communicated to us through.
So that is a very high level.
Yeah, it's very high level. I can even call that a concept.
Okay.
So this requirement at this level is just a concept. It's in their mind. Um, Most of them haven't even written it down in a piece of paper. So email or a phone call um, is done to our pre-sales team. And this pre-sales team is headed by 3 people. I mean, there are 3 people in here. So it's myself, Venkatesh, Shibu Bashir, who is my other fellow director, and Sharim.
So he's in US, I suppose.
Yeah, so Shibu is currently in US. I mean, he's spending 2-3 months there, and I'm here, and so is Sharim, who is my associate director of sales. So we take the phone, or we email them, and then we get the concept. So once we get the concept, and we try to talk to them, so during that initial discovery, this is called the discovery phone call. So this discovery phone call, I don't know if they can read this, but that's fine. So the discovery phone call is usually about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And we try to probe the customer or the prospective customer. We ask a lot of questions. And because we have been doing this for the last 10 years, so we know what are the common misconceptions that people have, and if it is already if the product that they have in mind is modeled after an existing product, how are we differentiating it and all those things. In a lot of cases, for example, you wouldn't believe, we get a request to develop another Uber app, 2 to 3 times a week. People calling us to say that, so because people do see some kind of mobile apps and things like that, and they see that it's very easy to develop and they want it, but that's actually not the case. So this discovery phone call, we spent a lot of time trying to understand how the customer got the idea of doing this thing, what is the utility of this, and what is the customer base. Once you have an app or a project out, how many people does he or she think will be using that, what is the revenue model, what is the return on investment that they are going to get, and all those things. So we asked all those questions, and so what happens is that if we do this, say 15 of these in a week, about 7 or 8 of them die at that stage. So we not lose them, because they
So they don't waste their money.
correct. They get all those questions, and then once they understand all those questions, they think that, oh, okay, this is not as simple as I thought it was, or there is already something out there with the same thing. It's not their fault. We always think that our idea is the greatest idea, but maybe it is not. So we do that, but if we decide to go forward to that, then what happens is that there is a team called business analysts. We have a BA team.
So this is done by the B.
No, this is actually done by us.
Okay.
We actually do this call because this is at a high level and there is no documentation involved. Most of them is done on phone or email, and then
Primarily it is a qualification.
it's primarily a qualification stage, and there is nobody else involved. It's a pure pre-sales call, and we also try to gauge the customer's budget and how much money they have, because they may have a wish to build a huge application. Their budget may not be fitting to that. So we also tell them that exactly not the case. We need to do that. So once that pre-qualification is done, if we are still going ahead with that, we engage our business analyst. And this person, the business analyst, is the person who engages with the customer, and they get into the depth of the project. And what they do, they come up with a lot of things. The first thing is called a feature list, and then we have a functional. Then we have a FSD, functional design specification document, and then we create mock-ups or wireframes, as they are called, and then there is a high-level architecture. So the feature list is developed highly in conjunction, in association, in collaboration with our customer. So we list out everything that they want. Do they want the people to log in, Facebook, Twitter, whatever they want? How do they think it's functioning, all of that. So that's the feature list. And then from the feature list, there is a functional specification document that's created. And this functional specification document will have the workflow of the app. And in order for us to understand or to visualize the workflow better, we create what's called our wireframes. We use a tool called Balsamiq. Balsamiq is a great wireframing tool, and so we use that to create mock-up wireframe. This is not a design. There is no color or the UI design is not done at this stage. It's just it's a diagram. It usually looks like this. It's like it has the phone picture in it, and this is a button, name, whatever it is. So that's what it is. It's just a mock-up like that. And then we also do the high-level architecture.
So by this time the contract is signed, or?
No,
Right.
because at this point of time, well, this is a separate phase here. This phase is the analysis phase. We can take it out. Oh, I can use another color maybe. That's fine, I have it. So this is the analysis phase. This is also, this analysis is done. It is done as a separate standalone project. This usually, depending on the size of the project, it takes anywhere between 40 hours to 100 hours to do this. So this is a separate project, and the customer, we agree to, and the customer agrees to pay for that. So the high-level architecture identifies the technology stack. If it is mobile, it's iOS or Android. What's the database that we are going to use? Or what are the APIs? Are there existing services that we need to integrate and everything like that? So this is done. Now, this is very much needed to go forward and actually for us to size up the project. Right? If we need to understand the volume of this thing, the magnitude of the project, we need this. The technical, in this phase, the business analyst is involved, and we also involve a tech lead. And the tech lead is mostly involved to just give us the high-level architecture. We explain the thing to him or her, and they come out and say that for this project we can use this kind of a database based on the volume of data that people expect. It could be a MySQL or a NoSQL, or what kind of data we want, what kind of analytics we want to build around it, and all those things determined by the tech lead. So out of this comes the feature list and the functional specification document and the markups and the architecture. And now this can be fed, these outputs can be fed into the next stage, which is actually the estimation process. So this is done by the technical team. So my technical head will do the estimation of this based on all this information. And the business analyst also sits, alongside with them. So any questions, they can get clarification on this. And for this process, the most important factors in this, for the success of this stage, is the customer engagement. Because we need to reduce our assumptions. Because what happens is that this is the stage where we create the feature list and functional specification document. And naturally, when somebody starts doing these things, they start assuming things. And in order to reduce the assumptions, we need a high level of customer engagement. So one of the challenges that people have is this customer engagement phase of it. Customers usually think that, okay, I have given all the information during my initial discovery call. Now let them come back to me with the functional specification document. So in that case, we have a hard time. We need a customer engaged with us through this process, if possible every day, like an hourly meeting or something like that. Every day, if 1 hour, they can review the progress of what's happening, give us feedback on that, and also answer the questions. If they are available to answer the questions raised by the VA on a timely manner, we can finish this in a timely manner, and also the output would be of much higher quality. When the customer is not engaged that much, or when they don't have the time, that's one of the biggest challenges. And they are saying us, okay, come out to the feature list. So what happens is, we look at similar solutions, similar apps or anything like that, and we come up with our assumptions. Of course, the assumptions are listed as part of the deliverable output, but that's not the way it should be.
Yeah, because it will have an impact on the product.
Yeah, because what happens is that if you are not engaged at this point of time, and later on we proceed with it, and at the development time you come back and you are engaged, and then you say that, well, that's not the feature I wanted, but we were talking about this all along. So we will come to that when we get to the development side. So the customer engagement is the most important point at this point of time.
So you use some tools for that, some video conferences.
Yeah, the customer engagement is typically done through Skype. 99% we use Skype for that. We also subscribe to Join Me, which is another great tool. We can share the screens, especially when we are using the mockups and wireframes. Balsamiq, we do that. We also have a subscription to a tool called InVision. InVision is a great tool to actually, if you have the mockups and wireframes, using InVision, you can actually create the feel that you are using an app. So you upload all these wireframes to the InVision, and then it gives you the feel that you are actually working on the app. So you can click on each button, and then it will take you to the next button. So that's done by InVision. With the licensed product, it's a great tool. So together with Balsamiq and InVision, we can create a pseudo app. If you allow me to use that thing called, it's a pseudo app. It's not the real app, but it functions like an app.
Give the feel of it.
You can get the feel of it. So you can know that when I click on this button, what happens next? It will take you to the next screen, as if in the real app. So those are the tools that are used in this section. And then, so the estimation happens at the technical head level. They go through the feature list, and it's a very detailed estimation. We use PERT. So there is a optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely estimates coming out of that.
At the feature level.
At the feature level. So we, every feature is our, is estimated, based on the effort required, and also there are questions that come out of that. When they go into the details of the feature list, they will come back with questions. Those questions are again routed to the VA, and then the VA goes to the customer to get that. So that estimation is done. We also use PERT because there is things like project management, quality assurance, business analysis. So everything is built into this. So we take care of the project from end to end. So we have a dedicated project manager who manages the client.
And maybe this is the time you decide whether to go for agile or
correct.
big bang.
Yeah, exactly. And again, so once this estimation is done, what happens is we give a feature-based estimation, and so this is done in a PERT Excel. We also have Microsoft project plan, but most people still prefer to get the Excel output for that. So when they get the Excel PERT estimate, they can see that it's either a little more than what they expected or things like that. And because the future list, typically what happens in this phase is that the BA goes back and asks them, do you need this, do you need that, do you need this? So, a lot of customers, they say, oh, that's a good idea, I hadn't thought about it, let's include that. Do you want a GPS? Yeah, that's a good one, let's include that. Do you want banking? Yeah. So they will ask for it, and we will keep on adding that. But when it actually comes to the estimation part of it, and then when we estimate it and we go back to the client with the hours required and then the cost associated with it, they will see that, wow, that's a shocker. They'll see that, oh, that I didn't expect it to be.
It's a nice to do thing.
It's a nice to do thing. So then what it boils down to is for them, so this is an estimation process. So we give the PERT estimation to the client. So that's delivered, right? So when these estimates are delivered, then then the phase is to actually lock down the feature list. Why this is needed? Because this is something that we both need to agree to. And here is where the customer has to go back and look at the feature list and say that, what are my must-haves, what are my good-have, or what is my priorities, right? So it's 1, 2, and 3. We only like to do it as 1 and 2, so that your most high priority things we can give it in release 1, and then based on how the release 1 goes, you can do the release 2 with the rest of the feature list. So that happens more often. That happens, and we will work on that. So once you lock down the feature list, then we agree on. So here is this, So you lock down the feature list 1 and feature list 2. So this is what we take up for first production release, and then based on that we can give them a approximate date of release of the product and whatnot. And then we agree on what we are going to develop, and we create a statement of work based on that. So an SOW is created based on feature list and other terms and conditions, and once we sign off on the SOW, then this phase actually ends after the signing of this, and then this goes to our delivery head. So my delivery head gets a signed SOW. So when he gets to sign the SOW, he gets all of this: the feature list, the functional specification document, the mockups, the high-level architecture, and everything. And by the time we hit this point, there are a few people in the organization who are well aware of this project. They know the technicality of this project. They understand the the functionality, the user base, and everything like that. So there are a few people who would be involved in these cases. So even though the tech lead he is here, he may actually get 1 or 2 developers to help him with this thing.
With the wireframing.
Yeah, with the wireframing and all those things. So, there is some talk going on in the organization about this upcoming project. So they know what is coming.
Which are the key technologies you are working on?
So we are into iOS and Android. Most of the time we do a lot of those. We have and the backend databases and CMS, the content management system, is built using PHP and .NET. So we use both based on the customer preference and also the project nature. So that's what we do. Apart from iOS and Android, sometimes we use AngularJS or Ruby on Rails. AngularJS is another mobile technology, combination of that and HTML5 to build mobile apps. But we prefer to do it in native apps. But there are people who ask for particular technology, and we do have that. So we have AngularJS, Ruby on Rails, all kinds of technology.
Which is sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest project you've done so far?
Well, my biggest project is still going on. It's got a project called Service Fusion. It's a web and mobile combination of those. It's a marketplace for service providers like plumbers, electricians, carpenters. So they come and caretakers, cleaning agencies. So it's a system. It's an ERP system that companies who do these services can use it further. And it also has mobile apps that go with it. So when you call a plumber, he comes to your home and he does the work and he builds it on the mobile app and it comes to you. Kind of thing.
So it is done for a client or you are?
It's done for a particular client. Yeah, out of Dallas, Texas. So that's it.
Nice.
So then, so this is the pre-sales project, pre-sales process. Like I said,
I think go ahead.
I'm just wondering. So the one bottleneck was here, where we actually need to get that. Another problem that's happening here is when this is another phase where my customers are not able to do this.
That is the decision.
Because the decision making of what is my priority, because you would think it would be an easy decision because I only have X amount of dollars with me to do it, and for X amount of dollars I can only do this much. But through this discovery process, what has happened, it has opened up their knowledge of the product that they are developing, and their wish list has gone up. And it's very hard for them to say that some of these features I can push it for later. Everybody wants everything. So that's a typical phase. So we try to tell them, upfront that these are some things. Um, so that's the decision making is a hard factor. Um, in all cases, there are people who leave at this point and they say that, well, I'll come back to you when I have more funds allocated for the project, and then I will do that. One way of getting them to do this thing is that if we don't probe them too much, if we don't keep it, but that's not the professional way of doing it. So we want to make sure that they completely understand the life cycle.
This is the most crucial step.
So this is the most crucial step in taking that.
This must support their business strategy.
Correct.
Otherwise, what is the use?
Correct. Correct. So yeah.
So I got it. So customer engagement is one issue, and decision making, because it's a distributed offshoring kind of thing.
Yeah.
And decision making by the customer, yes.
Yeah.
So these are the two critical areas.
Typically,
Great. So it was very informative, crystal clear for me now. Yeah. So what we do is that we take a small break.
Sure.
And after the break, we come back and then go through the development process as well.
Will do.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.